Hi guys, it's Sam and I'm back with another video for Lawn Fawn. Today I am using Virtual Friends add-on stamps and dies, your Just My Type stamps and dies, You Autumn Know stamps and dies, Bubbles of Joy stamps of dies, and Give It a Whirl template dies, as well as the brick stencil. And here is my cat Sedona, who jumped up right before I was going to start coloring. I am going to start coloring like I do everything by spritzing some water on my craft mat because I'm going to be using Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. And I'm showing you for the mice I'm using natural beige, mustard, and brown, mid-brown. And I always start coloring by using my medium shade, using a almost dry, little bit damp water brush to pull it out, going over it with my darkest shade, pulling that out with my medium shade again, and then finally going over everything with my lightest shade. And that's how I shade my images. I am coloring the mice all the same, so I'm only going to show these two. I forgot to show you the colors for the ears and the cheeks, but then I remembered, and it is pale orange and light carmine for the cheeks and the ears of the mice. I am going to use turquoise green, pale green, and light blue for the bubbles, the bubble bottle. There we go. Light gray for the little cap. No shading on the cap. It's not needed. And then for the label on the bottle, I am using golden yellow and yellow. And I am using the same colors I used for the bubble bottle, for the first bubble wand, the same colors I used for the cheeks and ears for the second bubble wand, and then the same colors I used for the label on the bottle, along with mustard, just to add a little bit extra shading. Now, for the bubbles, you'll see I didn't stamp them in black. I actually stamped them in antique linen distressing. And now I'm just using only 3 colors to color all of the bubbles. I am using pink, yellow, and turquoise green. And then I'm blending it all out with a lightly damp water brush. Here are the colors: yellow, turquoise green, and pink, as I mentioned. And I wasn't exactly sure how to color them, so for the first one I went all the way to the edge. For this bubble I started with leaving a little bit along the edge so I could color it out on both sides. But everything's the same. I'm having the yellow meld with the pink to get a little bit of orange, the pink to meld with the blue to get a little bit of purple, and the blue to meld with the yellow to get a little bit of green. And it's a little bit of a rainbow in every single bubble. I do the same thing for all of the bubbles. I'm going to show you how I color each of them though. The little ones, it took me, a learning curve. And my bubbles are not perfect, but I was, learning as I was going. This bubble I decided to do just yellow and pink, and then I was like, I don't like that. So I went back in with my turquoise to add the other color, and I like that much better. My camera stopped recording. I very much apologize, but all of the bubbles were colored the same. For the bubbles here that touch each other, I just had the same color touch where the other bubble touches. So yellow to yellow, blue to blue, etc. And then for these bubbles on the bubble wands, same colors, minimal coloring. Tiny stripes of color. The water brush does all the work to blend this out. And then I'm just using a paper towel to just dab it up. And I thought, well, I might as well show you how I color another one. And as you can see, it's just the same 3 colors. Not a lot of water, but more water than I would color a typical image in, because I wanted the rainbow bubble to be kind of see-through, kind of give it a whisper of color, if you will. Obviously, these are very bright bubbles and rainbow, and I love them very much. But this was my first attempt at coloring the bubbles, and I'm not mad at them. I like how they came out. I did add details with a white gel pen to everything, and that's the coloring. Next, I'm using the Give It a Whirl template. I'm going to attach the big square with the circle in the middle to my white cardstock. It's 80-pound cardstock. And I'm actually using the same colors in Distress Inks that I used with my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I'm using picked raspberry, squeezed lemonade, and peacock feathers. Same thing, pink and the yellow to make the orange, pink and the blue to make the purple, and blue and the yellow to make the green. Little bit of a rainbow. It's beautiful. Then I am showing how I use the smaller circle in the Give It a Whirl die set. I die cut it 2 times from 80-pound cardstock, and I'm going to ink blend this in the exact same way that I just did with the template. This took very, very short amount of time because it doesn't have to be perfect. And by this time I'd been rainbowed. I've been doing rainbows the whole time. So it just was like natural. I did use the larger circle and the Give It a Whirl die. And I'm just going to line it up and die cut it out with my die machine. And I'm just making sure that the little slots, the slits that are going to be die cut are in the same basic area on both circles. So kind of where the pink meets the purple a little bit. It didn't have to be perfect because they're both supposed to represent rainbows. No, well, yes, bubbles. But that was what I did. I am also showing you here I die cut out the little cover that goes on the tab from white cardstock. And next I'm using some white cardstock in my brick stencil. I am using this on fog cardstock, which is my favorite cardstock because it's gray, but it's not overwhelmingly gray. See, this is white embossing paste, and you can see it's definitely different than the gray, but the gray is very, very light, and I love that. So I used such a super thin layer of white embossing paste, and then I went over it without taking anything off. I used the fairy dust embossing paste just to add a little bit of sparkle, and I love, 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 love the texture and color of that. I am now using the small circle that we die cut in Rainbow Distress Inked to heat emboss the sentiment. That will be what is twirled out of our scene. And now I'm just going to line everything up and show you how I die cut everything and where it all came from so we can put the card together. As you can see, the one we used with the template is the largest circle. We cut 2 circles with the smaller circle, and then we cut one of the little zigzaggy from white cardstock, and the rectangle with the slot in the middle we cut with computer paper. And it's very thin, and we're just going to fold it along that crease. I just use my bone folder to just make sure that it's nice and crisp. Then we're taking the circle I did not ink blend. This one you won't even see. I could have ink blended it, but we're not even going to see it. I'm adding a little bit of adhesive to one side. Then I'm using the small circle I did ink blend with the sentiment, flipping it over, and attaching the small tab that we folded right underneath the slit. It kind of can be lined up, and I'm just going to fold it on there. It just butts right up to the slit, and it's really easy to do. You can see right where it lines up. Then I'm taking the white circle we did not ink blend. I'm adding a little bit of adhesive to the folded over tab. Then I'm going to attach the circle to the other circle with those tabs. I'm just making sure to line up the slits using my bone folder to make sure it's sealed and adhered nicely. And now I'm going to use this little, I'm going to call it a zigzag doodad. And all you're going to do is add adhesive on the little zigzag part, not the whole thing. And you can see that little curved edge lines up perfectly along the slit with the circle of the die cut. So the circle is lined up and the slit of the circle is lined up with the zigzag doodad. And we're almost done. That's basically it. I did add ink to that pull tab cover. I decided I didn't like it, so I die cut it again with fog cardstock. And now I'm just going to add it on top, easy peasy. And we're going to make this whirl. Let's make it whirl. Let's give it a whirl. You pick up your large circle, insert the tab through the slit, and then look at that. it's gonna twirl. Now you have to work it through a few times to make sure that it is going to work. But yeah, look at that. It's just a bubble within a bubble, and I love it. And now we're just gonna put this card together. I started to attach all my images. I am using the jumbo glue pen because of the texture with the embossing paste. It's hard to glue, tape might not have made it stick so well. So I'm using the glue to make sure it's not going anywhere. And I'm just attaching things and going along my merry way, seeing where I want all the bubbles to be. I have not attached the circle to the card base yet because I wanted to make sure that it was decorated the way I wanted it. You can see I have a bubble and a couple of the mice are hanging off the white part of the circle a little bit. So those will show when I twirl my card, but I don't mind. And here I'm just showing you how I added my foam adhesive along the perimeter of my Give It a Whirl die. And I'm going to attach it to my card and let it sit and attach, really adhere, while I go ahead and make sure I have the rest of the images attached to my card front. I just think these little mice playing with the playing with the bubbles are adorable. And look, boom, may your day be filled with bursts of joy. I even added little bursts to some of the balloons because the sentiment. And it's so cute. That was so fun. I could do that all day. It was so fun. I'm just going to fold a 110-pound piece of white cardstock and attach my card to it, and the card is done. And look how adorable these little mice are. It spins so easily, and I think it is so fun. I can't wait to see the recipient open this card. And thank you so much for joining me on this card making adventure. Have you tried Give It a Whirl? Comment below and let me know. I want to see what you make because I want to see all the ideas. I think it's adorable. Thank you so much again for joining me. I hope you have a great day and be sure to check us out on the Lawn Fawn blog. Bye!